Look at this crowd. He thinks that we should get this player, build the trenches, and come on, like, look at the games. You're an idiot.
What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. Welcome back to Wrestle Rundown, and if you're new here, welcome. So, it is time to go over one of the more trendy topics on Falcons Twitter today, and that is, should the Atlanta Falcons draft running back Bijan Robinson out of Texas? Now, this topic is very trendy right now, and as the draft approaches, I can see this becoming a lot bigger than it actually is. Because it's Falcons Twitter. Like, whenever we're heading into the draft, no one ever agrees with each other. It's always, we should get player X, and then the other side of the fan base really hates that, and they should get player Y. And then that side of the fan base says, you're really stupid. I don't know how you ever think that way. We should get player X. No, you're really stupid. Why don't we go get player Y? And then there's like that random group that says, why don't we get player Z? And everyone comes in to bash them. And I just absolutely love seeing that as a Falcons content creator for 3 or so months. But it does need to be talked about. And, you know, should the Atlanta Falcons not only draft running back Bijan Robinson, we're also talking about a running back in the first round at pick number 8. NFL fans are pretty aware of at this point that running back might not quite be as valuable as it was in years past, but the Falcons also last year proved that running the ball can still be very effective. So in this video, it was very straightforward. You know, all the pros to getting Bijan Robinson were straightforward. All the cons were straightforward. And my overall thoughts on if we should get him or not, I didn't really need to second guess it. Like, I felt like I already knew my stance. And even though the Super Bowl didn't happen yet and free agency didn't happen yet, I do feel confident that my stance on this is probably going to stay this way for, you know, I don't think it's going to change unless maybe, like, you know, something crazy happens in free agency, but I just don't think it's going to change. So we'll see. But in this video, we're going to break it down into 3 parts. The first part is the pros to getting Bijan Robinson. The second part is the cons. And then the third is my overall stance on if we should get him or not. So the pros to getting Bijan Robinson is incredibly obvious, right? You're just adding more firepower to what is already the strongest unit probably on the Atlanta Falcons, the running game. You've got Tyler Algier, the rookie running back who ran for 1,000 yards last year and somehow only 3 touchdowns, but he still had an amazing year. And then Cordero Patterson probably isn't going to be with us for much longer. So not only are you adding more strength right next to Cordero Patterson, but if he leaves, I mean, you know, you don't really have to worry about his replacement because you got Bijan Robinson. And then Caleb Huntley is also a pretty good running back. So why not add in more strength to that powerful Falcons running game? And it also just helps Arthur Smith and Desmond Ridder have more weapons to work with. I know they're just running backs, but Desmond Ridder does need a good running back to throw to from time to time. And Bijan Robinson is a great player, and he's probably the best running back prospect to come out of the draft for a very long time. Heck, some people are kind of saying that he's the best offensive player in this whole entire draft, even outside of quarterback. And this kind of sounds like the Kyle Pitts situation where everyone said Kyle Pitts was the best player in the draft, even outside of quarterback. So it kind of sounds like a similar story. Like, we're kind of just adding more strength to the Falcons offense. And I've been saying this since 2019, and I do still believe that this is an offensive league. I mean, you know, for example, like the Miami Dolphins came from a defensive-minded head coach, Brian Flores, and they looked like a good team, like a good, cute wildcard team. And then they changed head coach with an offensive-minded Mike McDaniel, and for a while they looked like a Super Bowl contender. Patrick Mahomes and the Andy Reid offensive-minded Kansas City Chiefs, despite how their defense is, they seem to always make at least Super Bowl runs or, you know, just close Super Bowl runs where they go to the AFC Championship. And there's way more examples than that, but it is a very offensive league. And I think that if you have a very powerful offense, it's probably a much more sustainable way to win games. But that's not to say that defense doesn't matter. Hold on, I'm not saying defense doesn't matter. And we'll actually get to the defense in just a second. But the overall pros to Bijan Robinson is you're adding more strength to the powerful run game, and then you are in an offensive league, so it kind of just helps you get more strength on offense anyway. But then 3, you're giving Arthur Smith and Desmond Ridder more help to work with. Now, what are the cons to this? It's very obvious. Even though I just said it's an offensive league, hold on. I'm not saying defense doesn't matter, because if I'm not mistaken, Bijan Robinson doesn't play defense. Unless he like pulls an Avery Williams where he comes from defense to offense, and this time Bijan Robinson comes from offense to defense, but that's just not going to happen. Or at least not most likely. But it's just, I don't think that Bijan Robinson is going to play defense. Therefore, you're not helping the Falcons defense. And I know I'm going to sound like a stereotypical Falcons fan here, but it's not incorrect from stereotypical Falcons fans to say that the Falcons just don't get help on defense most times. Like, you know, they always get these shiny new tools on offense like Kyle Pitts and Drake London and possibly Bijan Robinson. We got 2 great offensive linemen in Caleb McGarry and Chris Lindstrom, and Calvin Ridley helped us not too long ago, but what they all have in common is that they did not help our defense, and defense is losing us these games. And so I guess the tone of my voice as I explain all that does kind of spoil what I overall think the Falcons should do with Bijan Robinson. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to cut straight to that. My overall stance on if the Falcons should get Bijan Robinson is a no. I don't think we should get him. Because, like I said, it just doesn't help the defense. You know, we need a really good pass rush. And, you know, something that some Falcons fans will say is like, you know, oh, well, you do realize the draft isn't only the first round. We can get defense in the other rounds too. Like, I know, but we've been doing that for a while and it's just not really working. Marlon Davidson in the 2nd round did nothing. Arnold Ebiketie I like, but it's still a little too early to say if he actually worked out, right? And then, you know, Taquan Graham, like, did that do a lot for our pass rush? No. And then Ogundeji from Notre Dame did nothing. And I know that you might also point to, oh, well, the Falcons got Takk McKinley and Vic Beasley in the 1st round. How did that work out? Okay, like, did anyone actually expect this weird, like, mental breakdown from Takk McKinley to just go on Twitter and basically say that he sucks? And then Vic Beasley, I don't really know what happened to him, but some people say he lost passion for the game of football. I'm not going to act like I know what goes on in his personal life. I'll just simply say something happened. You're not always going to hit on, you know, the 1st round. And also, granted, that was a different general manager. This is Terry Fontenot. He's drafted well, but I just want to see, I want to see him at least try to get pass rush in the 1st round. Like, at least give it a go, right? Like, yeah, we got it, Falcons. Like, you can draft well mostly in the 1st round. Calvin Ridley worked out for a while. Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry worked out. Kyle Pitts worked out. AJ Terrell worked out. And Drake London is looking like it's going to work out. Like, at least see if you can make another 1st round player work out for us, and that is on the pass rush. Pass rush is our biggest need. No one's oblivious to that. Grady Jarrett needs help, and he's getting frustrated that this team is not really making the strides they should. We have to help him before he just says, screw it, this team sucks, and leaves. And we also need help to develop Arnold Ebiketie even more and get more better players around him, and Lorenzo Carter. Like, this pass rush is just not good, man. And not to mention, we do have a new defensive coordinator that specializes in pass rush. Why not just give him, I don't know, like a reward for specializing on pass rush and giving him a nice little treat? Like, yeah, I really am happy that we got a new pass rusher in the 1st round, and I will show you exactly why I specialize in the pass rush, and I'm going to develop him. Why do you think I gave Cam Jordan double-digit sacks almost every single year and all that? Like, just give Ryan Nielsen some work to do, and give Grady Jarrett and Arnold Ebiketie, Lorenzo Carter some help alongside. And I think I will finally admit, I've been like kind of not so sure of it over the last few years on what's the most important position on defense. Was it pass rush or secondary? I think I've made my mind up. It is pass rush. The Falcons do have a great secondary. They have AJ Terrell, and Casey Hayward when healthy is great. But, you know, did that really matter? I mean, they very clearly, like, would probably want to benefit from a great pass rush. I mean, you know, you see other great defensive teams like the Eagles. They're making the Super Bowl because of how great that line play is. And yeah, they're doing great things on offense too. But like that line play for the Eagles is great. The 49ers with Nick Bosa and that line play went really far. I mean, you need a pass rush, man. An elite pass rusher can totally change the game, right? Like I said back in 2020. And it still can, you know. The Falcons need to get some defense and at least try to see if you can get an elite pass rusher in the first round. But, you know, if the Falcons did get Bijan Robinson, I wouldn't think it's like the worst pick ever. Like, I would be like, okay, I guess I get it, but let's just hope that, you know, the pass rushers we got later on will be fixed because they're going to go pass rush no matter what. They got a defensive coach specialist. So it'd be weird if they didn't just address it, but I don't know. Unless they get like a great pass rusher in free agency, they should at least try to see if they can get a great pass rusher in the first round. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you guys with a video this Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. 11, appreciate y'all for the support, and as always, rise up.